Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday to you, and welcome to Not Feeling Like Myself. Today, we're going to be diving deep into this discussion about you are your own full time job. You are your own full time job. A lot of us don't realize the amount of work necessary to claim a new identity. A lot of us have decided that we are going to stay a certain way. And what I want to dive deep into today is the fact that we need to make decisions. Decisions are something I believe most people fail to make in order for them to realize the job description of you. The job description of you. A lot of us are walking around really stuck, feeling very triggered, emotionally drained, burnt out, frustrated, overwhelmed, and we can't figure out how to get ourselves to the next level. And most of us have learned that it's an outside job. Like there's something outside of us that's causing us to feel this way. And I dissent to that general line of thinking. I believe that the biggest work that you can do is from the inside out. And that requires you to be able to raise your right hand and say, I am my own full time job. Okay, so let's start off by saying that. I am my own full time job. Raise your right hand. Right. I am my own full time job. Put it in the comments. I am my own full time job. And the second thing that I want you to say is raise your right hand. I am not a robot because you are not a robot. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And so, for those of you who are joining me and you're new to this channel, my name is Diana Patton. I am your authentic power strategist. I help ambitious, high achieving executive level women learn to use their authentic power, their authentic voice, the voice that was given to them at birth, to use that with all of their superpowers, their story, and everything that makes them the brand called them in a sound to do their greatest work in a sound body, mind, and spirit. So I primarily work with corporate women, but women who really are about seeing that they're at a crossroad and they're like, I'm not really feeling like myself. I'm not sure what path I need to take. I've had a lot of success in my life, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going next. We primarily help women who are 40 and up, who are in their perimenopause and menopause stage, because, in my opinion, I think menopause is the great invitation for you to be able to take on the topic of the day, which is your full time job. You see, a lot of people have it twisted. They believe that their job, the thing that actually pays them money, where they reside for the majority of their day, is their full time job. I believe that your full time job, the thing that you actually do every single day, what you wake up with, what you go to sleep with, what you sleep with, and who you talk to the majority of your day is your full time job. And because subconsciously you don't realize that you are talking to yourself the majority of the day, you are using your imagination the majority of the day, imagining often false evidence appearing real, which is fear. Because over the years, you have become the individual, you have assumed the identity based on the belief system that you have agreed to, whether that was through your family, whether that was through your environment, like, say, for instance, your school or your place of worship. All of these combined, good or bad, have created the foundation of your beliefs. Those beliefs became your identity. And it's almost unconscious every single day because you are feeding that identity. And when you're faced with difficulties, challenges, all the things, and it hits up against this identity, you dismiss it. And it almost is like a vicious circle because you don't realize that where you want to go is not where you are. and seeing where you want to go with the identity that you have assumed over the years is not going to get you there, right? And so that's why often people, they can get new jobs and still be unsatisfied. People can go ahead and get a lot of money and still be unsatisfied. And there are factors that I want to go over today that are going to help you make yourself your full-time job and learn how to create a sense of meaning in your life. Because success without meaning is false. You don't have success. If you don't have meaning and joy at the foundation of your success, you will consistently be chasing a new job or a new opportunity or a new circumstance, a new relationship, a new, home, whatever that is, you're going to consistently chase that. So, what I want to go through today is I want to talk about the foundational aspects of moving to where you want to go in your own full time job. When you decide, okay, I want to get to a certain circumstance, and the reason you know that is because you're unsatisfied, you're unsettled, you feel uh, discontent. That's the foundation of the not feeling like myself. And as I said earlier, is that menopause becomes that great invitation for you to be able to move from I don't know who I am to I know exactly who I am. And when you can say, I know exactly who I am, I know the path that I want to take, and I'm quite certain that when I make these things called decisions, I'm going to get there. So let's talk about the root of the word decision. I believe words matter. And the words that you use based on the energy that you give them become the life pattern that you live. So let's talk about the word decision. Decision, the Latin word for decision means to cut off, to determine. It's decio, to cut. And so a lot of us have never really made the decision to go a certain path, right? We don't. And I know this to be true because a lot of women, and I'm not saying it's just women, it's just I serve women, executive women in their work. And a lot of women are indecisive. Indecisive. Oh, I don't know. Does this look good on me? Do you like my outfit? Does my hair look good? What should we have for dinner? I don't know what to eat. You're at the restaurant. You can't decide what you want to eat. All of these things, when you look at the patterns of your life and whether you are a person who goes, I'm ready to do it. Let's go. Not, well, I don't want to make anybody angry. I hope someone doesn't get upset at me because you make your decision. That is not going to get you where you want to go. Decision means I'm going to cut off, right? I'm not going to worry at this particular place and say, I got to, think about everyone else in this time. You decide, you make the decision, you cut off, and you go. That is the first thing you're going to need to do to make yourself your full-time job. Because a lot of you, and I'm included in this because the reason why I'm so good at knowing this is because I live this. And there have been stages of my life where I've had to cut off certain types of things. I have had to cut off the feeling that I'm chasing. Anything I felt like I was chasing, like I was hustling for. And I'm not saying doing hard work because I'm the queen of hard work. I'm gonna get some stuff done. And for those of you who are on the call, I know you are too. Like we know how to do that. But when you feel like you're chasing either a relationship or a particular job or something like that, deep within your heart, like the chasing part is not healthy to you. Going after it with zeal and ease is something that can be done and is available to you. So I want you to understand what I believe, that when you take all of the other bets aside and you just say, this is my full-time job, I'm going to do this. I really believe what makes a decision, an ability to cut off even easier, is when you understand your values. Like, you've got to understand, what do you value in your life? And in our work, the Rise Advocates Academy, we often talk about values at the base of a decision. Because when you are very clear about your values, you're quicker to make a decision. And so, the biggest thing before leaving today's call is, I need you to really get clear on what you are willing to cut off. What are you willing to decide to do? Where are you going? What is the vision that you even see for yourself? Right? Because being your own full-time job requires you to have a understanding of where you want to go. And you may not even know the actual thing you want to reside in. It's, how do you want to feel? Like, do you ever get into circumstances and you go, I don't like the way this makes me feel. I don't like when I'm with this person, how I feel when I walk away. Right? And feelings have value, but if the feeling is based in the value, it's it's better. So for example, I don't necessarily feel like getting on the Stairmaster and doing it for 300 calories, but because I value my health, I value my feeling of being in a sound body, mind, and spirit, I'm going to go do those 300 calories, right? And then when I get done with those 300 calories, I feel amazing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, going to a club and you want to hang out with your friends, and you want to feel good when you leave, right? You're like, I just want to feel really good. But unfortunately, you may have drank too much, right? And you feel horrible. The next day you feel horrible. So you have to think about, like, I don't want to feel like that, right? So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to feelings. Are we clear on that? Right? Because I don't, oh, it just doesn't make me feel like this. Well, what do you value? Right? And then decide from there. Okay. So when you make yourself your full-time job, the first thing you do is decide, cut off. Okay. The second thing that you really need to do, because you've done it in your other jobs, is to make a commitment to yourself, right? In order for you to be able to get to the next level, you have to be committed. A lot of you aren't committed to yourself, right? Because, again, using that word feeling, sometimes when it is hard, like, I don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. But again, if your values aren't rooted in that decision and in that feeling, you're not going to stay committed. So, what is commitment? I actually write about this in my book, Inspiration in My Shoes. There's a whole chapter devoted to commitment just does, right? Commitment is something where you say, this is who I am. What is commitment based in? Identity. Because once you start to take on this decision and you're going to commit to it, it says, I'm just going to commit to this because this is going to be who I am. Not because I'm motivated to do it, because motivation comes and goes. Commitment is something where you say, I am all in, right? So what does commitment look like? Commitment says, I'm going to put it on the calendar. So every day I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get my walks in, I'm going to eat this kind of food, I'm going to schedule time with my trainer, I'm going to get in the gym, I'm going to do my yoga, whatever that is, you actually have a calendar that reflects that. And no matter what's in the way, you're going to commit to that. Right now my sister's in town and I'm loving her being here. But I let her know, I've got to get to the gym. I've got to go do these things, but I want to have you here because I'm committed to my road to the pros. I'm committed to building my body at this stage. And at 58 years of age, it's really difficult to just be wishy-washy, right? And get a good result. Perhaps maybe in my 20s I could, I just decide I'm going to not do that. No, I've got to be committed to it. So that's commitment. So is that clear? Decision means to cut off, and commitment means I'm actually going to take action and put it on the calendar and go for that. Now, the third thing that you have to do in order for you to make yourself your full-time job is you have to resolve yourself to it. There is just a resolve that I see in people who really know how to take their growth to a whole new level. Like there's no turning back. Like you actually burn the bridge. We heard in a lot of my networking circles and when I was growing up to be a corporate professional, don't ever burn a bridge. Don't ever burn a bridge. Well, in this particular circumstance, burn the daggone bridge. Go on and get yourself a match with a whole bunch of kindling and a lot of wood and let that sucker burn because you need to resolve yourself that I can't go back. There's no turning back. When you're making yourself your full-time job, you have to realize you are up against, like I said, you're up against an old belief system. You're up against certain habits that you've just unconsciously assumed. And you're up against thoughts that you consistently have on repeat. And these thoughts, these beliefs, these habits are keeping you stuck in a pattern of no return. And that's because that's what you believe. You believe that false evidence appearing real, that fear that is at the foundation of that belief. When you say, I just don't have time to make myself my full-time job, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because whatever you focus on expands in your life. Whatever you focus on. So here's what I am clear on is when I work on me, I work on filling myself up. I work on all the things that I'm talking about, praying, meditating, journaling, right? Lifting weights. I got some right here, right? When I'm actually committed to building my body and having what I call strength in menopause, everything else benefits. Time is more useful when I make myself my full-time job. Because you have to understand if you feel exhausted, frustrated, angry, overwhelmed, and consistently fighting a battle, like as everything's a war, then you are literally expending energy that could be used on building yourself back up. It's more energy is expended with this idea of fighting with fear, right? Or fighting in general, like this idea, I gotta fight. You don't understand. People are against me. The system is against me. I'm a Black woman. You don't understand. I've got to do this. I got to work twice as hard and I got to show them. No, that is definitely a recipe for disaster and for this feeling of burnout and overwhelm. I need to have a sense of ease when it comes to the work that I want you to do for your full-time job. So people will have these excuses. I can't do that because I have to focus over here. I have to do over here. Well, it's just that you bought into the lies of hustle culture. And so when you make that decision to make yourself your full-time job, everything else changes. Everything else changes. I always say to people that you are not your age, you are your energy. You are not your age, you are your energy. And when people decide they cut off other things and they make themselves their full-time job, there's an energy that you emit unconsciously that makes other people feel alive, that makes other people feel like they're unstoppable, that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. And that's exactly how I live my life. I want to live a life that when I go into rooms, I go into spaces, I see people, I don't have to hustle for people to see me. I don't have to go, raise my hand and like do crazy antics to get people to want to align themselves with me. I don't have to do that. Why? Because I make myself my full time job. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I value. I have the behavior that reflects those values. I make my yes a yes. I make my no a no. I make my yes a hell yes. And I make my no a hell no. Not out of being conceited, not out of trying to act like I'm better than other people. Not at all. Not because my ego says I'm better, but because I know that I am the child of God. And when I know I'm a child of God, I live with a sense of abundance. I live with a sense of energy and this idea that I can attract whatever it is I need in my life. Because whatever I focus on expands. Say that with me. Whatever you focus on, whatever I focus on, expands. So if you need to examine your life, because if you are focusing on other people and the opinions that they may have of you, then your energy is going to be expended learning this futile exercise because you will never know. You're not in their mind, you're not in their life. You don't understand what types of circumstances they're bringing to the conversation when they're talking to you. I just never rely, even on the husband that I've been married with for 28 years. I don't rely upon his energy or positivity or whatever to get me to do what it is I know I said I was going to do. Because he could wake up one day and be upset about something. I don't know. And if I take that personal, I'm going to be sitting there like, what did I do? Why is he mad at me? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't work that way. So when you make yourself your full-time job, you aren't sweating other people's opinions. You aren't hustling for a like on social media. You aren't wondering who's following me, who's not. You are aligning with the people who are wanting to align with you. And it's not this hard thing. You will feel uncomfortable. You will feel a sense of understanding that there's some work involved. That's a good thing. That's going to help you grow. Making yourself your full time job is all about understanding these basic elements. And this is stuff that we teach every single day within the Rise Advocates Academy. And I just want to share with you that if you are a woman who is just feeling, I used to feel like this little knot in my throat. I felt this uncontrollable energy. Sometimes I'd wake up and I'd be like, I can't even get out of bed. That was when I was going through menopause and the perimenopause kind of shift, where my brain literally, according to Dr. Lisa Mosconi, Moscini. Sorry, Dr. Mosconi, if you're listening, who authored The Menopause Brain. She said that when you're going through a complete depletion of your estrogen, your brain literally is trying to rewire. That's the reason why your pituitary gland and your hippocampus and all the aspects of your brain that create regulation, specifically your pituitary gland which releases progesterone, and those two big, huge hormones are leaving your brain because that's what helps your synapses, your thoughts, to snap like this, like how I'm talking to you. And I'm having these conversations and I'm not sitting there going, okay, I forgot that. Because when you are going through estrogen and progesterone depletion, your brain is trying to figure out how it's going to rewire. And you actually can create new neural pathways in your brain to the extent you're willing to work at it. Your brain has plasticity. It's plastic. That means it can be molded into a new way. And I love the scripture that says that do not follow the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Even scripture actually foundationally says everything that Dr. Lisa Mosconi is saying, right? Because when we pull away from what the patterns of this world says do, and we actually start to pull away, get quiet, and we start to visualize what it is that we see for ourselves, our brain will rewire. It's a fact. It will happen. Whatever you focus on expands. Say it with me again. Whatever I focus on expands. Whatever I focus on expands. So when you really pull away and you begin to take the circuitry that's in your brain and you start to repeat certain things that you want in your life, that is a part of your full-time job, right? Some of us think it's outside of me. I got to go to a therapist, and I'm not knocking therapy. I really think therapy is important. I am not knocking anything that you would do outside of you to, even talking to a friend. I mean, it's a good thing. But if you aren't talking to yourself the way that you want to talk to yourself, that is going to give you a certain result, you're not going to achieve what it is that you want. And I know you can go get a job paying $500,000 a year. You can know the Kardashians. You can hang out with them, work at Skims. It don't matter. If you don't get into understanding your own way of thinking, your own way of living, you're never going to be joyful and satisfied. Which brings me to the point I was telling you at the beginning of the video, this conversation today. Is this not good? This is so good. I absolutely I absolutely love this. You see, the thing is we don't believe we are worthy of taking the time to invest in ourselves. We just don't believe it. Like, I just believe most people don't believe in themselves. They don't bet on themselves. And I would say every single time, if I was a betting person, which I'm not in a casino, but if I was and I could put myself on them little things that they roll, I straight would do it every single time. I bet on myself. I believe that I have the opportunity to get the result that I want. Why? Because I just believe it. I've made a decision. I've cut off all other things. I've committed myself to this. And I have resolved myself that my full time job is going to give me everything that I need. And you know what? I don't care how much time it takes. I believe it's going to happen. And some of you all, you give up too soon. You think, I'm going to try this new diet for like 5 days. 5 days? How old are you? 52? You've been living this same way for 52 years and you think 5 days is going to do it? That's short-minded thinking, right? That's where you believe the patterns of this world, because the patterns of this world says it should happen right away. You shouldn't have to work hard. Here, let us pick up your groceries for you. Here, you don't have to clean your floors. Here's a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all designed to keep you stuck on this crazy mentality that you can't do it. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You have all of the opportunity of the world. God has given you the opportunity to do vast things based upon the fact that you can imagine it. Isn't that amazing? And when you put a meaning behind that, meaning like, I'm doing this because I want to leave a legacy. I'm doing this because I believe that my better days are ahead of me. I believe that doing this is an investment in me that will yield this unbelievable result. I can't even imagine what that result is going to be. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to make me feel amazing, right? That's the reason why people they resolve themselves to going this path. That's called betting on yourself. That's what I'm telling you. You got to learn how to bet on you. Bet on you, not even my community. And I just want to say this because this has been on my heart. I have this desire, this vision that 100,000 women are going to be coming into our academy. Now, people have come into our ecosystem and suddenly left without saying anything, without doing anything. And I've come to realize over time, it's a misalignment. It's a misalignment. I don't blame them. They got to go because they're not aligned with what it is that we're doing. And because I'm starting to realize that even from 2020, y'all, in 2020, that was like what, 6 years ago. I was at the age of 52 years old, 52 years of age. I hadn't even learned everything that I have learned to this day. You picking up what I'm laying down? Like even I have grown since starting my academy. So as I have come to realize, like the more I've made myself my full-time job, not just like going doing the activity of like say I'm going to sit down and meditate, like literally making myself do the feeling of meditation, like steeping myself into the process, not like checking the box, because I think I was checking the box before. As I began to do that even more from the age of 52, even to the age of 56, my entire business has changed. And as a result of that, people are going to come into this ecosystem and some people are going to go, I don't think this is for me and leave. Guess what I got to do? Be okay with that. Because I can't control that outcome. I can't be sitting here like, oh, what's wrong with me? Because they didn't follow through. I can't rely upon that. What I can rely upon is faith. Faith is the evidence of things I cannot see and the confidence that it will come. Like it's a belief system. That's a fundamental belief system. And you know how I know you have faith? Because when you drive down the road and you are going 75 miles an hour, and there is another car that's coming the opposite way, going just as fast with only a yellow line in between you and that other person, you have faith that the other person isn't going to ram into you. That's why I know we have faith. And it's whatever you practice, whatever you believe, whatever you focus on is exactly what you're going to get. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? You are your own full-time job. And when you focus on that, you believe that God will give you everything you need whenever you need it. Spiritually, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You aren't a human doer, right? In with all the other things that are outside of you. And because you do, whatever it is that you do is going to get you where you need to be. No, you're just going to be tired often and you're going to be worn out and you're constantly going to be, why is this happening to me? And then you're going to find every excuse in the book. Well, it's because, I'm a woman, or it's because I'm a Black woman, or it's because I didn't grow up with money. Oh, yeah, he's a white man, so he gets that. No, that's all outside of you. And don't get me wrong, as a former civil rights attorney, I see that, but it had nothing to do with my destiny. I decide the destiny. Why? Because God imprinted in me a DNA. It's a blueprint. And that blueprint, as my friend Aaron Sal says, and Tom, they say the blueprint is your blue chip. It's your blue chip. That blue chip, I can bet on it every single time. And that to me is worth every single investment. Money, time, resources. I'm going to put it there. You feel me? This is what we have to do. I hope this has blessed you today. I really believe if you can just want to you put it on 2X because your girl was into it today. You hear me? I definitely was feeling full-time job. So as we exit this, I want you to put your right hand up and I want you to say this with me that I am my own full-time job. I am my own full-time job. And the last thing I'm going to have, I am not a robot. You are not a robot. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And if this felt good to you, you listen to this, you came all the way to the end because I've been talking for 34 minutes, 4 minutes, about to be 35 minutes. If this felt good to you, what I want you to do is I would love for you to take our executive biology audit, because I just feel like if I'm the type of person that when I become aligned with a person or there's something that resonates with me, like I listen to the whole thing all the way through and then I sit with it, then I go home, then I write notes about it, I think about it, and I become, okay, I should share this with someone, right? Because everything that I do, good or not so good, because everything is good, because everything is meant to teach me something. I believe I'm supposed to learn it and I'm supposed to share it, you see? And that's how I live my life. So if you've come all the way through this, and maybe even if you came in at the end and you're like, oh gosh, I gotta listen to the beginning, please do, because you're gonna get some good value. Take our executive biology audit. I'm going to link it within the comments here. What is it going to do for you? It's a free assessment that's going to help you look at 4 quadrants. Because see, I don't believe that you're broken. I just believe that you're not knowing yourself, right? You're unregulated. And the triggers that you're having, you believe those are outside of you and you can't do anything about it when you can't. Right? I just totally believe that we can capture every single thought and make it obedient to, I believe, God of the universe can help me do that. And I believe that you can do that too. So the executive biology audits help you to put your glasses on, right? Get your microscope to begin to analyze what's going on at the base of your identity, what's going on at the base of your metabolic functioning. Like, you are a human, so you need a good metabolic activity, right? You also need to have a good, clear identity, right? The identity that you are choosing to do. And then I also believe your nervous system needs regulated. And I knew that when I got shingles. Oh, I was like, okay, your nervous system is shot, Diana. Whose fault is that? Mine. Mine. Yes, I can go get a shot. I can get a shingle shot, can help me. But what can I do to help regulate my nervous system to know how to come back to ease? And the 4th quadrant is executive presence. I have an executive presence, whether I wear a blazer, whether I have makeup on, whether my hair has been done by someone at the salon, whatever. My executive presence is my energy. And then I can put all this other stuff on to make me, shine bright like a diamond, right? Because I already shine bright like a diamond. Hey, I already shine bright like a diamond. If I put other stuff on top, yeah, that'll be the icing on top. But myself, I am the diamond. You feel me? So your executive biology audit is going to give you an assessment that is going to help you understand where you fall. And it's not because Diana said it, it's because you say it. So these questions, it's my AI assist, is going to help you dive deeper into this analysis of you, because it's all about you, baby. It's whatever you think, right? I can't sit up here and tell you what to do because you are the loudest voice in your own head, regardless of what anybody says. We all know that, because some things, why should you do that? That don't make sense. Well, because to her, it makes some kind of sense, right? So we can't, I know, Diana, close up this live. Yes, I'm going to close it up and say thank you so much for being here today. The 3 things: make a decision, make a commitment, resolve yourself to making yourself your full-time job. Your life will change immensely at any age. And if you've been following me long enough, you know I'm on the road to the pros. At 58 years of age, I took on a bodybuilding competition and got second. I was one place away from one place away from actually getting a pro card. Like, what the heck? That's crazy, right? And so now what I decided to do, I'm going to actually make a decision to go to the pros, right? To actually go after my pro card. I can do that at 58. I can do that at 68. I can do that at 78. Why? Because I get to decide to do that. So listen to the notes, listen to this full video, take the executive biology audit, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. I literally am trying to draw you into this experience My next book, Strength in Menopause, drops in January. Say, for instance, Diana, I want to really learn more about this strength of the menopause. Well, the ebook is on pre-order. So order yours, right? I'll put the link in there to be able to order that as well. But I'm live here every single Sunday, 9 a.m. Every single Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join me in my next live. I would love to talk to you and have conversation with you, comment, chat with me, and we can kind of dive deep, ideate, talk about some things, okay? Thank you so much. My name is Diana Patton, your authentic power strategist, signing off on this Sunday, August 16th, 2026. Peace, love, joy, and all things rising.